It's time for this week's episode of Brandon Sports Talk, featuring in-depth interviews from those who are trending in the world of athletics. And now, here's the host of Brandon Sports Talk, Brandon Pate.
Welcome back to Brandon Sports Talk. In today's episode, I have the privilege of interviewing the Cal State Bernardino's assistant women's basketball coach, Coach Morgan Greene. How are you doing today?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing good. Can you talk
Good.
about how you knew that you want to get started in coaching in college women's basketball?
Well, it happened kind of late in my college career. I started off as a music major actually. And then it was the conversation of with my parents of like, well, maybe you should get your degree in something that you can actually use. So I was like, well, like I don't know. A lot of athletes are pushed towards kines. So I was like, okay, like I'll just try it out and see what it's about, because obviously it's about sports and things like that. So once I went through the kines process, while I was in my college career, I actually tore both my ACLs. So once I tore both my ACLs, I kind of started becoming more fascinated with like the PT side of things. But once I got into the point where I had to start doing internships, I wasn't getting the gratification that I wanted or making the impact that I wanted with these athletes. And then all my teammates were basically like, you should coach, like you coach us now. Like, why wouldn't you just go into coaching? So when I talked to my coach at the time about going into coaching, she was like, you would be great. However, just giving you a warning, it's a thankless job. Like I wouldn't even want that for you. So as got into my master's, I did my master's in sports science and performance coaching while I was in England. And then when I was there, I actually was a volunteer assistant coach, which is when I kind of first got my foot in the door with actually coaching. And I was like, oh, I love it. Like, this is what I want to do. So yeah, that's pretty much how it came about. And then now that I am coaching, like my first year of actually being a part of a staff, I was like, okay, this is definitely what I'm made to do.
What was that experience like for you going to Cal State East Bay and getting to play?
It was definitely a roller coaster because it just had so many different facets to it, whether it's on the court or off the court. Um, my freshman year, I actually redshirted my freshman year, and we had one particular coach there, and I did not have the best experience at that time. I didn't really feel like she believed in me and kind of deterred me from even wanting to play, to be honest. And then after we actually won a championship that year, and then after she left, we went through two coaching changes in about 6 months. We had a coach there. She like was gonna be the new coach. She ended up leaving because she got another job. And then we had another coach come in. So now we have this coach who, is with these recruits from two different recruiting classes. And we have to just figure out how to make it work, like literally right before season. I think this was about September. We start season end of October. And then we actually ended up winning it. We were not supposed to win. There was no way we were supposed to win, but we actually won the championship. So that was an amazing year for me. I actually scored the most or had the most rebounds in the conference as a freshman. So that was a great experience. And then my sophomore year, I had a very successful year. Two player of the weeks, best rebounder and most double doubles in D2 in the nation. And then the year after that, that's when I tore my ACL, my first ACL in preseason. So then I sat out, I redshirted that year, and then I came back, my first practice back after being cleared, tore my other ACL. So I tore my other ACL and I was like, I cannot sit out another year. I was like, I'm not going to do it. So I told the doctor, and he was like, you have like a 4% chance of actually playing with this ACL torn, especially from your one that you're still recovering on. But I was like, I don't care. And that's when I actually rehabbed myself. And I played with two sports braces at that time. And we still made it to playoffs. We had a pretty decent year. And then the next year was COVID. So I actually only had 3 active seasons of playing basketball at Cal State East Bay. But I love my experience there. I learned so much there. I grew so much as a person. I feel like that's really what being in college is about. So I definitely overall enjoyed my experience at East Bay.
During that time, as you said, what was that
Mm-hmm.
experience like bouncing from injury to injury and still being able to still perform and play?
It was hard. It was definitely hard mentally. I think injuries, like, you hear a lot, it's more mental than anything. But I still have that in me. It gave me a sort of resiliency, like, to where I can accomplish anything. Like, I just played on, a torn ACL an entire season, and coming back from another one, like, you can't tell me anything at this point. Like, you know what I mean? So it came like an invincibility type of feeling almost. Even though it kind of is redundant or contradicting because I was getting hurt back to back. But it definitely taught me like a lot of lessons. And now that I'm a coach, when I have players that are going through injuries and things like that, I'm able to recognize what they're going through and empathize with what they're going through.
What was that experience like, getting to represent them and putting on that jersey for them?
It was an amazing experience because I did not have any exposure growing up. I played 1 year of club ball, and that was like at the last minute. I think that was my junior year. And obviously, a lot of these girls play club their entire lives almost from the moment they're able to. And I was also being recruited out of Arizona. So I had very low exposure. I didn't go to a lot of tournaments. So being able to get picked up, that was my first time being to California, not let alone living in California. So being able to make that my home and wear that jersey and get that opportunity to play at the next level was amazing for me.
For you, what was that transition like, from going from playing college to playing professionally overseas?
Um, it's very different. And I feel like I didn't get the full experience actually until I just went to Africa in last October. Because it's all about basketball. Like, there's no school, you don't have to worry about anything else. Like, they're literally bringing you out there to perform. And also, like, yes, you're getting paid in college because you're getting your school paid for, but then once you actually get paid, like, this is your job. You know what I mean? And I think that it was an amazing experience for me. Like, I'm coming from 2 torn ACLs. So a lot of people just stop playing at that point. So the transition is tough. Obviously, the competition level is greater. The language barrier that you have to deal with and understand. So like it adds in all these new nuances that you have to get used to, as well as performing at a high level.
What was that experience like for you, getting to go travel overseas and playing in the UK and getting to see the world over on the other side of the world?
Mm-hmm. You just, what was my experience like, or how was it? Oh, it was great. Like, I think England culturally, like, was great for me. There was like, it's a melting pot. Like, I met somebody from a different country almost every week. And Europe is so small, like everyone there is so well traveled. Like, even the young people out there, they're so well traveled just because they can just jump country to country out there. Um, but I loved that socially, everyone was super nice. And obviously, England was a good place for me to go to first because it is so close to America. However, when I went to Africa, it was a very different experience. I won't say negative, it was just very different because obviously it's a different way of living. So it's a different way of living, and had to getting used to the food, and like I said, the language barrier and things like that. However, it's a beautiful country. And I'll never take that like experience away. So I was able to get comfortable going to the UK, and then putting myself out there when I went to Africa.
For you, what was that transition like, going from playing professional basketball to getting into college coaching?
So it was kind of, a weird transition just because I was playing, and then I got the coach. I was actually in Puerto Rico when Cassandra gave me the call to offer me the position. And I was still deciding whether I was going to still keep playing or not. And she was like, take your time. Like, it's a big thing because, it's a big thing for people to just stop playing and start coaching. It's a lot in itself. So I took my time to think about that, and I actually accepted the position to coach. And then like the same week I got a call. It was like, oh, you have a spot. I mean, somebody wants you to go to the Dominican Republic, or a team wants you in the Dominican Republic. And I'm like, oh my God, like, are you serious? And I was like, you know what? It's just time for me to grow up. Like, give my knees a break. Like, it's time for me to just whatever. So then this is my second year coming into coaching. And around September is when I got the offer to go play in Africa, and it was only for 3 weeks, and I wouldn't have missed any games. So, once I talked to my boss about it, it was a perfect opportunity for me. So I was able to go out there and, have that experience while I was coaching. So, it wasn't a clear transition, if that answers the question.
What was the feeling like coming to Cal State Santa Barbara and getting to become a coach for the women's basketball side?
Cal State San Bernardino, yeah. It was great because I played in the conference. So I played at Cal State East Bay. And I was able to be able to start coaching in the conference that you played in is a great experience just because you know it already. So I'm not coming into completely unfamiliar territory. So I still was able to be like a clear asset to the team, to the players, and to the other coaches, because I knew what I was talking about. I knew the team, I knew the area. So it was kind of just like it was a comfortable feeling. It was also weird being this is the team I played against for however many years, and now I'm coaching here. So that was the only strange part, but it definitely felt like home.
What was that feeling like for you stepping onto the court as a coach versus your time as a player in both the professional and college side?
It was different. It's definitely different because you're so used to putting on that uniform, getting ready to go play, getting ready whatever. Because I was still hyped. I'm always gonna be like that. The girls know. So I'm still hype. I'm still chant. I'm gonna still do all the things like I'm a player. But it's tough being on the other side of the stripe, because like you're just like, dang, I just want to get out there and I just want to show them what I'm talking about. But it's a different gratification being able to make a difference from outside of the box, because like you're able to really see all the nuances of everything and make adjustments. So being able to make those in-game adjustments and give that motivation to your players and seeing it translate onto the court, is an amazing feeling.
What does a typical game day look like for you as a coach versus from your time as a player?
Um, just the preparation is different. Obviously, I'm not stretching, I'm not warming up, I'm not worried about my jump shot, I'm not, worried about anything else. It's more of just the X's and O's, making sure that I'm on point, especially when it's my scout. In game, making sure I'm aware of any in-game adjustments I might need to make, matchups. So it's a different type of preparation, definitely more like detail oriented. Getting the girls ready to go, making sure they know what's going on as far as the scout and the players and what we're gonna play and everything like that. So it's just a different type of preparation.
Who are some of the teams in your conference that you compete against each week?
So we're in the CCAA. So basically all the Cal States that are in D2. So Cal State LA, Dominguez Hills, San Marcos, Pomona, Stanislaus, Sonoma, SF State. Like I'm missing someone. Chico. I think that's pretty much Monterey Bay. I don't know if I said Monterey Bay. So yeah, all the CSUs that are in D2.
What is that home game atmosphere like when teams from the California area come to your home facility?
Um, well, we have honestly the best, in my opinion, arena, not only in Southern California, but also in our conference. So, when people come to our arena, they're excited themselves to even play at our home. So, it's definitely an amazing experience for both teams when they get to play at Cal State San Bernardino.
What are some of the things that you've been able to accomplish so far as an assistant coach?
So my first year, was the first I won all my scouts. That was the first time we were above 500 wins since 2017. And then my second year, this previous year was the first time we made the conference tournament since 2017. And then also it was the first time we had four of our players make all conference selections since 2015.
What does that recruitment process look like for those prospective student athletes? And as a coach, what do you look at in those prospective student athletes?
Pretty much, recruiting is kind of all year round. Obviously, we take a break once we're actually in season. However, as soon as season's over, we're starting that process, and we're still in that process right now. We don't even we haven't solidified our roster yet for right now. So it's very extensive. It's a long ongoing process. Like, some things work out. So you'll talk to somebody for a very long time, and then it doesn't work out, and then you just have to move on to that next person. So yeah, it's definitely very, very extensive process.
As a coach, what is it like seeing those players fall in love with your basketball facility and the campus?
It's great. Like, every time, San Bernardino is this pocket and it kind of gets a bad rep because of the area. So when people actually come see our campus, because we have a D1 style campus. So even when people come see our campus and our arena, they're in awe. Like it sells itself. So we have an easy recruiting process once we actually get them on campus. Once we get them on campus, it's kind of just like, it's signed at the dotted line. But it's amazing to see because I was amazed. When I was playing, all I seen was the arena, and obviously I thought the arena was great. So when I finally got the job and I was able to walk through campus, I said, "This campus is beautiful." So yeah, it's definitely a good feeling.
What is it like as an assistant coach getting to see those freshmen put on that Cal State San Bernardino jersey for the first time?
It's great because all I think about is when I put my jersey on for the first time. So I know how good it feels. Like you just kind of feel like you have that nervous feeling. Okay, like now it's go time. Now I have to prove myself, but kind of just you can breathe because the recruiting process now is yes, it's hard for us, but it's even harder for them, especially when they're coming out of high school. There's so many facets to it. So being able to just have them put the jersey on and feel good and smile and take pictures, it's definitely a good feeling to watch that.
What is it like getting to see those seniors put on that jersey for the last time representing the school?
It's bittersweet. It's bittersweet because you obviously think about all the things that they have accomplished, all the things that they went through to get to that point. So you're just like, oh my God, I can't believe they're all grown up. You know what I mean? I feel that way now. I've only been there for 2 years, and every time the seniors graduate, I'm sad. So yeah, it's hard, but you know that like they're gonna become an adult and they're gonna start their new jersey and how important it is to like wear that jersey and do what they need to do for that last time that they're wearing it. Hopefully the goal is if you're not winning a national championship, you don't want to know when is the last time you're wearing that jersey because you're in conference play. Like, you know what I mean? So yeah, it's definitely a bittersweet moment.
What is it like getting to see those freshmen achieve those big milestones in their careers versus the seniors achieving those milestones in their careers as the last milestone?
Freshman is a beautiful thing just because you know the potential. And then being able to see their potential and seeing their confidence, it's all about confidence. Confidence is so big right now, especially when it's involving women's basketball. So being able to we had, a freshman this year, she had an awesome year. She actually started for us. She had a fantastic year, and just being able to be like, okay, you had this great year. Now all we need to work on is this. So being able to work with them and grow and seeing that until a senior. And then when you see the seniors accomplish that, it's like, this is what you worked for. Like when they get that 1,000 point mark or, when they get all conference, you're like, this is what you worked for all of this time. And so they can hold that because that's all when you think about college basketball, when you play a college sport, you remember that forever. So, you have that with you. I was this, and no one can ever take that away from you. So it's a beautiful thing.
What is it like as a coach and a player getting to see those players go on and playing professional basketball like you have?
So since I've been only coaching for 2 years, I haven't experienced that yet. However, I know how I feel when the younger, because I was at Cal State East Bay for about 6 years. So even when my younger teammates are going overseas now to play, like I'm ecstatic. You know what I mean? Because I was with them, and I'm so proud of them. So I can imagine what it's gonna feel like when that happens for one of my players that I coach.
What are some of your future plans for the program moving forward?
A championship, national championship. Like it's been too long. It's been too long. Cal State San Bernardino has always been like in the middle. So it's time for us to get that ring. And I feel like that's always the goal. Like if your goal is not a championship or a national championship, like what are you going towards?
What advice would you give those incoming freshmen entering their first year of college women's basketball?
To be mentally prepared. I think that sometimes that's kind of a missed mark when it comes to whoever is in their support system as far as coming to the country, because you're an adult. So you have to time manage, you have to eat. We have so many players that are like, I didn't eat this morning. Like, why did you not? So nutrition, time management, getting your work done, being on time, making sure that, because at the end of the day, you have to start acting like you playing basketball here is a job, because we're paying, like you're getting money, you're getting a scholarship, so it's a job. So making sure you're practicing, doing all of those things. So being mentally prepared for the dedication that it's going to take.
What advice would you give those players looking to play professional basketball, whether it's Athletes Unlimited, the WNBA, or overseas after their playing college career?
Stats and connections, like you start learning, like when you start talking to agents and these companies, it's stats. The first thing they're going to do is look you up on Google, and sometimes that's unfortunate because we always talk about like play with your heart, play with your whatever, like who cares about the stats? But it does matter because these are what people see. Like even if you have a great highlight tape, the first thing they're going to do is look at your stats, and then connections. Me going to Africa was part of a connection. So just networking, connecting with different people, because you never know who you're going to meet, and to put you at the next level.
What advice would you give those professional basketball players that are transitioning from playing basketball to getting into coaching like you have?
Finding your why. Why do you want to coach? Because in my opinion, not every player should be a coach. I think it's an easy segue, and I think that a lot of people do it because they want to stay close to the game. However, it's not for everyone. So just figuring out your why. Why are you passionate about coaching? Yes, you're going to be able to be around a sport that you love, but other than that, why do you want to coach? Why do you want to make an impact? Do you want to be a mentor? How do you want to encourage these young women to achieve their goals? Like, why do you want to coach? So just really finding your why.
What advice would you give those players looking to get into coaching after their playing career?
Networking 100%. Even now I've learned that moving around and coaching and getting better opportunities is a game in itself. So you have to network, you have to communicate anybody, whatever you can, even if you don't even know them. If you see somebody get a job, congratulations, coach. Like I'm happy to see anything. Like continue to network, whatever opportunity that you can get in and get experience, take that experience. It's hard starting off coaching. Like you're 9 times out of 10, you're not going to get paid the amount that you want to do. So you have to make sure you really love it. And then, work your way up.
That's great advice. Where can my listeners find you on social media along with the program app?
So we're on Instagram, Twitter, CSU SBWBB. So you can find us on any platform. I think I think our Facebook is we're trying to get rid of it a little bit, but we're definitely on Twitter and on Instagram.
Thank you again, Coach Morgan Greene, for your interview, and best luck in your future at Cal State San Bernardino.
Thank you.
You can find Brandon Sports Talk on Instagram at Brandon Sports Talk, Twitter at Talk_Brandon, and you can find me on YouTube at Brandon Sports Talk. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you again, Coach Morgan, for your interview, and best luck in your future.
Thank you.
You've been watching Brandon Sports Talk. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe to Brandon Sports Talk on social media and on YouTube.